Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero and welcome back to Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. Today we're taking on top of the Lefty. Previously we took on the Open Cup Singles Tournament, which was a breeze to get, but unfortunately. And once again, unfortunately, we're going through an even easier tournament because top of the Lefty has, well, it's not so much an easy tournament, but it's a tournament that I'm going to kind of breeze through. I'm going to use Ryoma here because it's the sort of requirement that I need to do in order to get this character here, Dan, which is kind of pointless, but if I'm going to go through these tournaments, I might as well only go through it once, so I'm always trying my best just to use whatever character I need to use to finish the game, or to get all the characters in one shot. Even though, there are still points where I have to go back and redo tournaments, which I don't mind as much, but, saving as much time as possible. The reason I say I'm going to get through this pretty quickly is that I'm going to try and probably do the same sort of strategy that I did when I last used Ryoma in the, what was it, National Singles, I believe it was, where I had to do fucking the no-hit challenge where I had to just not miss a hit, which was fucking redunculous. I'm going to give that a shot. I'm probably not going to be able to, just given the sort of characters that I'm going to have to face on later on. They're a bit ridiculous. It kind of scales up really sort of badly in this tournament because we start off here with Dan, who's basically, well, there goes the challenge already. We start off with Dan, who's basically off at the same level as the girls that we faced in the Open Cup Singles. He's a little bit better than them. He's a little bit able to play a little bit better than them, but in general his stats are relatively the same. So he's not exactly the greatest character. Dan is part of Yamabuki. He's, I believe, their manager, and he's also, he kind of looks up to Jin for whatever reason, which is why he has the same sort of stance as him, and he has the same sort of weird special where he hits the ball and he's able to sort of delay the hit. So he has that as well. I'll be honest, I don't really remember the sort of connection that the two of them have, and that's primarily because he's not really that much of an important character. Similarly, how the sort of love interest for Ryoma, her name I can't even remember, but that's because she's not really important. She's literally only there just so that when Ryoma's playing, she can be like, Ryoma. That's all she really ever does, honestly. So, oh yeah, no, not that one. That one just automatically gives him full super gauge, but he does have this dumb move where he can apparently his headband falls down, right? So he can't see anything, and you're thinking alright, cool. That affects you in some way, shape, or form, which makes you not able to see anything. So the screen goes black for a second, and then you just gotta kind of react as quickly as you can to the ball that he hit already. Yeah, here's the special that Jin does. It's kind of annoying in this game because it throws off your timing. Or at least it does it for me, because I'm kind of already in sort of the when I play these games, I kind of get into the swing of things. So when you do kind of things like that, that really throws me off because I'm already ready to move and hit as soon as you hit the ball. Which is why a lot of times, when an opponent serves, I'll sort of mess up. I'll give them free service aces by accident, because what I'll do is I'll hit the ball and I'll be, facing in or pulling the stick in the direction so I can try and get a return ace, but I'm also then immediately moving away so that I can get back in center and be in a good spot, or moving up or something like that. But it's happened to the point where if I miss the timing, I'll kind of just swing, or I'll just move too early and just completely miss the ball, which has happened a lot. This is the hit. And you just gotta kind of guess where the fucking ball goes. So in hindsight, Dan is actually not that bad. He has some pretty useful specials. He can get, super gauge, which makes his stats probably a lot better, at least bearable. He can do some two pretty good moves that are, I would say, pretty effective even against human characters. That's sort of the thing with this game when it comes to sort of special moves. I don't really know how well they work against actual people, because I've never, unfortunately, had the pleasure of playing against someone in this game. Maybe in the future, I'm thinking of since I like this game a lot, I'm thinking of figuring out a way to do that. I'd have to, get a bunch of DSs and copies of the game, which is gonna be really annoying. But yeah, I don't know how effective some moves would be against the computer, who can kind of has a sort of preset way of dealing with specials and stuff, and a human who kind of has to do things separately. Because it's really the only really real way to test how a human will react is when they use the special on me, and they'll see how I react, you know? But I'm only one person, and you know, I may be great at stopping certain specials, but horrific at stopping other specials. For example, I seem to be having a lot of trouble with that blind move of his, and what else do I have a lot of trouble with? I mean, in general, I think I've been pretty good, because a lot of these specials, once you know that they're coming and you know what they do, you can more or less prepare in time, for the most part. But for example, there are a lot of things that still get through me, like for example, the Kaido's snake shots, because the thing with Kaido's snake shot, even though you know all his moves are snakes, they're all separate. Not separate. They're all different types of snakes, because he has, you know, a short snake, he has the long, crazy high looping one that's a lob, and then he also has the like super snake, which like, whoops, smacked into my pop filter there, because I love talking with my hands. That goes, you know, fast and around the court from like the outside. So those are all three different places where you need to be in order to counter that special. So it's pretty difficult to sort of try and figure out what's going on as soon as he goes out and he does his or whatever the fuck it is, and then the ball's already in motion. You gotta kind of just take a chance, and you got kind of a 1 to 3 chance that you might be right. Like, I'm sure it's probably a little bit higher than that, just because some of the specials you have to be in a certain spot to use them, but I think they're kind of pretty similar. I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them have the same requirement, which makes them really difficult to use, or not to use, to counteract. So yeah. And for example, I can imagine like a character like Ryoma would be really difficult to compete against, aside from the fact that he's the main character. So he's obviously preset to be really good, but he does have a lot of good different tools that he can use. He has, you know, serve special, he has a drop, he has his own snake, he has a return, a service return, he has a volley, a lob defense, not a volley. He has a volley defense, you know, he has a lot of different things that he can use. And then, was that it? No. That was one of the drives. It was, I think, like B drive or something like that. So I think A drive is the service defense, and then B drive is just from, yeah, I think that's A drive. Or is that B? I think that's B. Oh, I don't know. I don't really remember the names of these moves. But yeah, he has a lot of variety in shots. And he can get super gauge extremely quickly, and it lasts a very rarely, you know, a good while. So he's, you know, he's a pretty decent character. So I can imagine him being pretty good in, you know, the right person's hands. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I find him a little too annoying to use just because his grip is so low. That's mainly the only gripe I have against. Aside from him being the main character and whatnot, it's just his grip stat is way too low. And there have been way too many times when I've used him and I've, you know, lost a point, almost a game, just because he couldn't hold on to the fucking racket hard enough. Yeah. Sorry if I sound a bit funny. I know it's like 8 minutes in, or 9 minutes in, and I haven't said anything yet. It's just, I'm unfortunately sick still. I'm not feeling the best, but, you know, should be better eventually. I actually called off for work today just because I have a lot to do this weekend, and I didn't want to go to work and get sicker. I figured I'll just call out. Okay, stay home, get some rest, and by rest I mean record as much videos as possible, because that'll obviously make me feel better. But for the most part, I'm not extremely sick. I do get sick very often, given, for one, my sort of condition, my immune system is a little weaker, but just 2, the sort of environment that I work in is an office space, and it's very stuffy, and there's not a lot of ventilation. There's especially not a lot of ventilation because there's a lot of women that I work with, and they unfortunately get colder a lot easier than us, which is why they don't want us leaving the window open most times, which means the office gets really stuffy, and that's sort of the bad kind of environment you want when everyone's breathing and, you know, breathing each other's air and germs, which is why a lot of us get sick. We can, you know, pump hand sanitizer as much as we want, but it's still gonna be in the fucking air. But nonetheless, I should be fine. I'm not like dying like I usually am when I feel this sick. I guess maybe my immune system's a little bit better, or I managed to just only catch a whiff of this disease, or maybe it's just because I caught it as soon as possible and I immediately got some rest and, you know, pumped myself with water and Dayquil, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know. But it should be fine. I don't think I've ever played tennis while being sick. I know I really like tennis, but I don't try to force myself to play tennis, if that makes sense. So if I'm sick, or if it's about to rain, or if someone is not sure if they're gonna make it or something, I just won't really go to tennis. Like, I love playing tennis, and I can play tennis for hours. I played recently, actually, finally, with CurlyHairedHero, and we played together for, well, us and like 2 other friends and 1 other person that showed up. We played together for like 5 hours or something like that. At least I was on the court for like 5 hours, and that's, you know, what I used to always do. I used to come out from school, I would come out at 12. I would either run home, get a bite to eat, usually not, or run home, like grab a banana or like something like that, and just grab my like tennis stuff basically, and then immediately just run to the tennis courts. Be there. It would take me like half an hour to get there, so, you know, I'd be there like 12:30, let's just say 1, and I would just play. And then our actual tennis, we were part of the team, we didn't have actual tennis practice till 3:30, or yeah, I believe it was 3:30, because that's when the coaches finally arrived and whatnot. So we'd already been playing for 2.5 hours at that point. And then, you know, practice would begin, and it was like 2 hours long, more or less. We would get out of practice at like 5. Once practice was done, we'd stay there for an extra 2 hours, and finally get kicked off the court because the courts close at 7. So yeah, we would play like a good 6-7 hours of straight tennis, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna be able to do that very often nowadays, just because, aside from the fact that I'm a lot older, my body probably can't even keep up with that. Maybe it can, I don't know. I surprised myself that one weekend ago I was actually able to be on there for so long, but I just don't have that kind of time. I have way too many things for me to just spend 6-7 hours of my day at tennis court. Unfortunately, that's just not viable. I have, you know, bills to pay and a job and all this other garbage that I have to take care of instead. Yeah, I mean, if I was on the court for that long, I wouldn't be able to do any videos for my channel. I would have. But yeah, we're wrapping up here against Dan. He was actually a lot more difficult of an opponent than I thought. I was hoping to go into this doing the no-hit challenge, but he fucked me up pretty early into the match. So I was kind of like, well, all right, guess we won't be doing any of that. I mean, I technically could have still gone for the cheese, because I can go through an entire set, a 6-game set, with, you know, just 1 super gauge. After the first game, I already, you know, determined that. And there's my cool drive. Cool drive is cool. Just because the sort of, I like the sound it makes and the animation it does. I think that looks really cool. But anyways, here I am coming back. I'm on fire, actually. I got the smash, I got a good winner, and then now I just got a service ace. And then, you know, to finish things off, well, actually, no, I have another game, or another point that I have to win. So I got another winner there. And then finally, to finish things off, since this is the last point, I'm going to get another service ace, just because I got the super gauge boost, which is cool. Respectable 6-4 against Dan, or at least respectable for him. Not so great for Ryoma, quite honestly, but that's gonna do it. We did alright. We're pretty even, quite honestly, except I had more smashes. But yeah, let's go ahead and forget about that, because that shouldn't have been as long as it should have. Stay fresh.